Everyone, welcome to this week's edition of our Next Gen Nurses free webinar series. My name is Jennifer Bonner. I am a certified nurse midwife with over 15 years of nursing experience. I serve as the tutor team lead here at Archer Review, and I am so delighted to have you joining me today. I know we have a lot of excitement. There's a lot of you have joined because you're like, Jennifer, man, I need this because I need to conquer those nerves. If you are anything like me, maybe you struggle with a little bit of testing anxiety. And we here at Archer Review, we get it. We are nurses for nurses. We've been there. And so we want to help you along this journey as well. So, before we get started, I always enjoy finding out where is everyone joining me from. So go ahead, let me know in the webinar chat, or if you're joining us on Facebook, YouTube, maybe you're on Instagram or possibly TikTok. Go ahead, let me know in the chat where are you joining me from. So I am in what looks like rainy South Dakota today. It is chilly, but it's my favorite weather. I love sweater weather. So I've got my nice fuzzy sweater on. I'm seeing some joining from the Philippines, Chicago, New Mexico, New York, California, Texas. More Philippines, more Chicago. Awesome. So excited to have you joining us from all over the world. Canada, Florida. Awesome. Well, welcome wherever you're joining me from. I'm so excited to have you here. So, I'm interested in knowing, is there anyone out there that's just like me, struggles with testing anxiety? Y'all, so when I took my NCLEX, I was a nervous wreck until the next day I was at a dental appointment and my husband texted me my RN license from the State Board of Nursing. It was really funny. When I went to take my midwifery boards, we pulled our results right off the printer. So you could find out right away whether you passed or failed. I looked away, pulled them off the printer, folded them in half, and put them in my bag, but my hand was shaking so bad. I was sure I had failed. I had that bad of testing anxiety. So I'm interested to hear, is there anyone else that is struggling just like me? And I know that when I was in nursing school, it seemed like there was nobody else that was struggling with it except for me. And so I want you to know that even if you don't feel comfortable letting me know, and you're like, yeah, I really do struggle with this, man, I wish somebody could walk this through me or walk me through this, but I'm not really comfortable putting it out there that I really do. We see you and we are here for you and we're here walking you through this. So let's talk about what testing anxiety in particular actually is. So this is a performance stressor. We're getting ready to take this big test, and there's something that determines the next steps, right? So we take this test. If we pass, we become a nurse. We get to start practicing maybe in our favorite field. Maybe it's labor and delivery. Maybe it's pediatrics. Maybe it's the ICU. Maybe there are some of you really fun people that I don't understand that are like, I'm going to work in the ER. This is what that means. And so if we don't pass, maybe that means that we don't get to start in that department, or we have to go to a different department, or whatever that looks like for you. And so when we have this pressure on ourselves, it gets to the point where we start blocking out our thoughts, to the point where we cannot remember what it was that we studied, even if we've been studying for months. And this is really common in nursing school, especially because we are taking these tests that determine whether we move on to the next class or not. When I was in nursing school, we had to take a test that permitted us into the next semester, into that next year of nursing school. And so if you're in the middle and you don't pass that test, well, you've just paid all this money, you've spent all this time, and you won't be moving forward in the program. So it was very difficult, especially when we have that mindset of, oh no, I have to do this, or, something else might occur. So I'm curious, for those of you who struggle with test anxiety, what is it that causes that for you? What is it that's causing your testing anxiety? I'm curious to find out. Failing. Yeah, a fear of failure is a big one. And a lot of us, we really struggle with that, knowing what happens if I'm not successful. Sometimes that means that we have a loss of a job. Sometimes it means other things, like we don't get into that particular area of nursing. Some of you are saying letting my family down. So, if your family is anything like mine, they're like, "Hey, Jennifer, when are you going to take your test? When are you taking your test? Have you passed yet? When do you start?" And so that can be difficult because our family is in our corner and we don't want to feel like we have let them down. Overthinking, stress, knowing this one matters. Yes, absolutely. These are all things that can cause us, someone just said embarrassment of not passing. Y'all, I wish I could tell you how many students I meet with each day that are like, Jennifer, I was unsuccessful. So we hear about the success stories, but a lot of times we don't want to share that we are unsuccessful. And because of that, we feel isolated when we are not successful. And so if we are willing to share our stories, other people feel like they have a safe place that they can come. And so I love that. All right. So some of you are saying doubting, some of them are saying emotionally struggling. Yes, absolutely. All of those things are factors. So when it comes to testing anxiety, one of the things, just like in nursing, we talk about what do we do if we get the flu, right? But we can also talk about preventative measures. What are some things that can help us prevent this? Now, the first thing that we need to anticipate is that there's probably going to be some anxiety. Most likely, we're going to have some level of anxiety. It can look a little bit different from person to person, but there's probably going to be some. And when we're prepared for that, then we have to figure out, okay, what do those symptoms look like in me? So when I feel my testing anxiety showing up, what does that look like? How can I identify it? And so there are a list of things that can occur. This is not the exhaustive list. This is just a few of them that you might see happening for you. But try to figure out what is it that you notice when you start having that test anxiety welling up. For me, I feel my heart right up in here. It feels like it's like right underneath my tongue. I get sweaty, y'all. I get sweaty and I get really red. Anytime that I'm feeling anxious, you can see it. My husband will call it out sometimes, which makes it way worse. And so I want you to know what are your things so that you're able to identify them and then we can do something about it. Okay. So knowing what our symptoms are is one key. The other key is preventing, doing all the things that we can do in order to minimize this on test day. Now, some of that looks like just making sure that we are adequately studying, making sure we have a test schedule or a study plan in front of us, that we are going through all the areas that we could see on the NCLEX. So I don't know how many of you know, but there is a test plan. It is out there for you to see. You can kind of get an idea of what you're going to be tested on. It's not going to tell you the exact questions, but it can tell you like things like basic care and comfort. Okay. And here at Archer Review, we're working on some webinars that will break those things down for you to help you know, hey, okay, basic care and comfort. Great. I know that's a test area, but what does that look like? What do those test questions look like? What kind of things could we what kind of information would be covered in those areas. And going in with confidence, knowing you have studied, you have done your absolute best, but also knowing how the process works. So making sure you know what you need on testing day, where that exam center is, how to get there, making sure you're leaving in a appropriate amount of time in order to get there on time. So when I was in midwifery school, I was headed to a birth, so I was on call, and I got the call from my preceptor that said, "Hey, Jennifer, we have somebody in labor. She's fairly progressed. We could be having a baby anytime. You should probably get here." So I get dressed, I get in my car, and I take off. And just as I was about to get on the highway, I was probably about 5 to 10 minutes from the hospital. I see those flashing blue and red lights from a South Dakota representative, shall we say. I get pulled over. And I was panicked. My heart was up in here. I'm like, I'm going to miss this birth. And listen, y'all, I know this is very different from taking a test, but I had that anxiety. I was going to be late because I had just enough time to get there and something was pulling me away from the time that I had to travel. And the same can be true, whether we get stuck in traffic or we get pulled over, or we have an accident, hopefully not. But there's a lot of things that can occur in between our time from leaving the house to the testing center. So we want to make sure that we leave in the appropriate amount of time. Now, someone just posted in the chat, I wanted to encourage everyone that your time is coming. Just passed my NCLEX using Archer for 60 days, and I was out of school for 5 years. Passed on my first attempt. Thank you for Archer team and family. Congratulations, Adriana. We are incredibly proud of you. And yes, I agree. Your time is coming. We are here in your corner. So I'm curious to know, what are your earliest indicators that you've got some anxiety welling up? Heart palpitations, for sure. Chest pain, confusion, nausea, absolutely. Racing thoughts, anger, all sweating, shaking, flushing, absolutely. So, when we identify that we have test anxiety, I want you to take a moment. I want you to just give yourself some space to back up and utilize an anxiety toolkit. So, instead of pushing through and saying, hey, if I could just get past this, I have been through this a couple times with various different projects where I'm like, I want to do five more before I take a break. But give yourself that time to just back up and figure out what is going on and combat it. So, how can we combat test anxiety? Well, there's a couple different ways we can do that. And I want to go through some of these with you. But the first one begins now. It begins with your positive self talk. So this is going to be a right now and afterwards. Talking to yourself the way you would talk to a friend. If I had a friend that came up to me and said, Jennifer, I'm never going to pass this exam, I'm not going to look at them and go, absolutely right. This test is too hard for you. You can't do it. No, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I would say, hey, I know this is a hard exam, but I know that you have worked harder and that you can do this. I know that you have been studying hard. I know that you are dedicated to your success, and I am going to be here cheering you on, right? But we don't. We get into our head and we start having self-doubts, and then we start talking to ourselves in a way that's not okay. And it's just bringing us down further. The next thing is deep breathing. We have some releasing tension techniques and then our 3-2-1 rule. So let's go into this a little bit more. With positive self talk, we want to make sure that we are talking to ourselves in a way that is absolutely appropriate. We don't want to drag ourselves down deeper into that frustration and that darkness. So, talking to ourselves the way we would talk to a friend, hey, you're working hard. Hey, you're doing the steps. You've reached out for tutoring. I made a mistake. Oh man, I didn't get that practice question wrong, but I get it now. Um, Passing nursing school is not a small thing. It is a big deal. It is hard. And if you couldn't pass the NCLEX, you would not have graduated. Now, the next thing is deep breathing. Now, I know that y'all are probably going, okay, Jennifer, deep breathing, deep breathing. Yeah, it really can do something to reset us. And so, just taking a break, sitting back from your computer, maybe folding your hands, putting them in your lap so you're not tempted to like scroll on the screen, but just being present, kind of taking a moment to think about the breath, feeling it kind of expand and fill your lungs, thinking of your favorite place to be. Y'all, I love the beach. I love the mountains. There's just something up on the mountaintops that is just a sound of quiet. I love the beach, just the rolling in of the waves. And so I want you to visualize those places. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath, hold it for 3 seconds or 4 seconds. And I want you to feel that air just kind of expanding in your lungs. How cold that air as it is going in. You're going to hold it for 4 seconds and then you're going to release it. And then I want you to feel it leaving your body. And it's just a moment where we disconnect from the exam and we move into something more mindful. Now, the next two are probably my favorites. Releasing tension. Y'all, this is helpful in many areas of life to where you're stressed out with a project or with someone. Just releasing tension. And what you're going to do is from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, you're going to tense up every muscle you can think of, from your face to your hands to your teeth, everything in between and your toes. Now, if you're anything like me, sometimes doing that for too long can cause a cramp. So I don't want you to do that. But I want you to hold it for 3 to 5 seconds. And so you're tensing up everything you can think of. And then I want you to just melt into your chair. It takes up all that energy, all that anxiety, and just let it go. And do this a couple times. And again, what's happening is you're disconnecting from your screen, from the test that you have going on, from the questions that you're taking. And it puts your mind in the headspace of, am I tensing up my forehead? Am I tensing up my teeth? Am I tensing up everything that I have? And a lot of times we will use this for women in labor to disconnect from the pain that's going on and thinking about something different. Now, someone said I get anxiety once I hit unfamiliar questions I've never seen. I'm going to be a repeat test taker, and I can say it was devastating seeing I didn't pass. So, one thing I would recommend is if you have used Archer and you did not pass, please reach out to us, NCLEX tutors at archerpulse.com. I'll put that here in the chat for you. Please reach out to us. We're happy to um, chat with you about that. Archer, whoops, pulse.com. Okay. The other thing is knowing that you can do this several times. It's not just a one and done. Now, also know that the NCLEX is going to give you test questions that are just that. It's just to see how well you do. They don't count for you, they don't count against you throughout your exam. And so if you get to one of those questions where you're like, I don't know what this is talking about, in your head, I want you to say, this is one of those practice test questions that they're working on. It doesn't count for me, it doesn't count against me. I'm going to do my very best and I'm going to move on to the next question. All right. So, like I said, this is one of my favorites, the 3, 2, 1 rule, because it really takes me off of what I'm doing and kind of has me scanning. So, this is 3 things I can see, 2 things I can hear, and 1 thing I can touch or smell. So, 3 things I can see right now is I have a carton of grapes. I have a package of baby wipes that were left on my desk, and I have my tea. 2 things I can hear. It sounds like it is starting to rain. I'm hearing that pitter patter kind of outside, and I hear my refrigerator running. 1 thing I can touch or smell, somebody made pancakes this morning and they smell fabulous. So I want you to think about these tactics when you head into into your exam. And remember that your daily habits can be helpful here. So, getting the opportunity to move your body. Y'all, it is rainy here. I'm not going out for a run today. I'm not going out for a walk today while it's raining. But you know what? I have stairs in my house and I can run up there a couple times. Okay, maybe 1 or 2. Probably not more than that or I might, get a little exhausted. But to find things to move your body, doing some jumping jacks in between, areas that you're studying. Journaling, getting an opportunity to write out your feelings. Meditation, socializing, getting around people who get it, but also getting around people who are not going to be in that. Have you ever been in a stage of life that's like, I just need to be around somebody who doesn't understand nursing? Okay. So that is one thing to think about. Other NCLEX strategies that I want you to think about are keep each question to about 2 minutes or less. There's going to be questions that require a little more time, but just, for time's sake, try to keep at least around 2 minutes. If you spend a little more on another one, then, no worries. But try not to change your answer unless you have read the question incorrectly. If you've read the question incorrectly, then absolutely, please change your answer because you have probably need the opposite of what you answered. And then don't self-evaluate. Ask yourself, what's the question asking me? Do your very best and then move on to the next question. Don't focus on the past because you can't change it. Prepare for everything that you can. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Know where you're going, know how to get there, plan for a little extra time, and have all of the things that you're going to need. Now, Tiffany Paolino, she is a fabulous nurse And her favorite testing day tip is pick out your favorite outfit down to your underwear. Wear your favorite underwear, wear your favorite socks, your favorite, clothes that make you feel confident and comfortable. Have your ID, your keys, your snack ready to go. And remember, practice is going to make progress. The day before your exam, I don't want you to do a whole lot of anything. If you feel like you need to do something, you can skim your notes till about lunchtime. No practice questions. Put your notes away by afternoon. Go do something you enjoy. Go move your body. Go see some friends. They've missed you. Make sure you get in bed in enough time that will allow yourself to sleep. But we also know that sometimes it can be like Christmas. You're like, I can't go to sleep. I know I need to, but I just can't. This is something that we value so much here at Archer Review is we understand the importance of rest. Um, if you don't know it the night before, you're not going to. So go ahead, get something good to eat, fuel your body, and then head on to bed. And remember, you don't have to know it all. You don't have to know it all. So, key takeaways to here is I want you to start implementing these now. Use your toolkit when you're starting to get anxious. Take a minute, sit back and go, okay, what do I need to do here? And remember, you're going to be an amazing nurse and we believe in you. So maybe you're saying, Jennifer, okay, you've said that I need to prepare. How do I do that? Well, my number one recommendation is our SurePass combo. We have one for RNs and one for PNs. It includes our on-demand videos, our QBank, and also our 3-day live review where we go through the most high yield information. This is by far my first recommendation for anyone getting ready to study. You can scan those QR codes there on your screen and they will get you right there to explain what those look like. But also tutoring. Our tutoring is in high demand right now. We have private tutoring available. We have both 30-minute and 60-minute sessions. Our 30-minute sessions are $40. Our 60-minute sessions are $75, and they're completely individualized. Whatever you need is what we are going to work on. But we have changed how we do small group tutoring and we have moved it over to webinars where we have the opportunity to really go through various things, whether it's a mock NCLEX, which we have going on tomorrow. If that's something that you are interested in, scan that QR code. Shelly's going to be leading that. It's an awesome opportunity to learn testing strategies, go through questions together. It's only $25 for an hour, but make sure you go ahead and check those out. Remember, here at Archer Review, we are here for you wherever you are on that nursing journey. Whether you just got into nursing school, maybe you're in the thick of it, you're getting ready to take your NCLEX, or maybe you're headed back to be a nurse practitioner. We're here for you and we're ready to walk alongside you. So, thank you guys so much for joining me. I know your time is valuable, and we understand here at Archer Review. We're cheering you on, we're supporting you. And remember, if you have questions, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're in your corner. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you back next time